Okay. Now, for risk level 1E minus 6 per year, which risk type covers a larger area for outdoor vulnerability? And the tip here is to generate the multi-row risk contours. And you have a selection of whether it's toxic risk or flammable risk. Okay, so again, we have 1 minute to answer this question. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, have you understand the question? Because once we launch the poll, you will not be able to see the screen. Okay, so I hope you have understand the question. Okay, let's launch the poll now. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the answer. Okay, if you generate a multi-row and then set the risk level to 1E minus 6, okay, for toxic risk and flammable risk, you'll find that toxic risk will have a larger area. Okay, if I do it in the software, how should I do it? So for this, let me show you. Okay, the correct steps to get the results. Okay, so in this risk button here, we click on multi-row. Okay, then the next thing is we remove all the individual run rows, but we have the combinations, flammable, toxic, and total. Then we have the risk level 1E minus 6 and the vulnerability, outdoor vulnerability. Okay, then we click on finish. So this will show you that the toxic risk, okay, because the red color one, the dark red color one is the toxic risk and the blue color one is the flammable risk. The toxic risk has a larger area than the flammable risk. Okay. Okay, here comes question number 4. So I would like you to get ready. Okay. Now, once we launch the poll, you will have 20 seconds to answer the question. Okay. So when I show the question on the screen, then you can start to generate the results. Okay, let's move to show the question number 4. Okay, for risk level 1E minus 6 per year, which vulnerability covers a larger area? Is it the indoor vulnerability or the outdoor vulnerability? So the tip given here is that you should generate the multi-vulnerability risk contours, and not to forget that the risk level is being set at 1E minus 6. Okay, so you have 10 more seconds to look at the question, understand the question before we launch the poll.
Sorry, for this one, is it for flammable and toxic, both, or for which one?
Yes, it's for both. So we did not specify it's for flammable or toxic, so it's for both combined. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, it's better to ask now. Yeah, because once the poll is launched, you will have to immediately make a choice to answer the question. Okay. And Okay, so the poll starts now. Okay. So it's time to show the results. Yeah, it's the outdoor vulnerability. Okay. So how do we get these results? Let me show on the software. It get the multi-vulnerability. So you have outdoor vulnerability and indoor vulnerability. The risk level is 1E minus 6. The only thing is you need to be careful that the run row or the combination, you should be selecting total risk instead of flammable risk or toxic risk. You should be selecting total risk and click finish. Okay, so what you see here is the blue circle is definitely larger than the dark red circle. So the blue circle is outdoor vulnerability. So the answer is B, outdoor vulnerability. Okay, here comes question number 5. So get ready to read question number 5. Okay, so question number 5. What is the LSIR per year for control room indoor vulnerability? Okay, so the risk ranking point is control room. Okay, and then the indoor, we want indoor vulnerability, and then the LSIR per year, this is referring to risk. Okay, so you can choose between 2E minus 4, 6E minus 4, or 2E minus 5. Now, this is not generating the contour. This is generating the IR ranking grid. Choose the closest one. Okay, choose the closest one. Okay, so, okay, does anybody want to ask question about this question before we launch the poll? So everybody understand the question, right? Okay, so let's launch the poll now. Okay, so let's show the answer. And the answer is A, 2E minus 4. That's because if you generate the IR ranking grid, you'll be able to see under the control room and indoor vulnerability, the risk total is 1.8 E minus 4, and it's closest to 2E minus 4. Okay. Okay, let me show you on the software how do we get it. Just want to make sure that everybody gets the correct way of getting the answer. So at the risk button here, we click on the IR ranking grid. Again, we want to combine risk of toxic and flammable. So let's remove the flammable risk. And then we want only for control room. So I will remove all the rest of the risk ranking points, leaving only the control room, and then click on finish. So here I will be able to see that the indoor vulnerability is 1.8 E minus 4. So the answer is 2e minus 4. And the next thing is I'm going to show question number 6. So let's get ready for question number 6. Okay, the question goes by, which scenario contributes to the highest risk to the control room indoor vulnerability? So that means you do not have to close your window. You can continue to expand what you have got, what you have got just now. So the key word here is the highest risk, not frequency, not risk per outcome, risk. Okay. Okay. So if there is no further question, we will launch the poll now. Okay. So the answer is, all right, it's hexane loading area, medium, C.
Hi,
Okay,
Richard.
So yeah.
Hi, Richard. Sorry, I'm having a problem generating the IR ranking grid. It doesn't show up at anything. So I'm not able, like the last two questions, 5 and 6, I wasn't able to answer them because it didn't generate results for me.
It didn't generate results for you. Okay. Can you tell me if your risk button is activated?
Yes, I selected the IR ranking grid from the individual. Yeah.
It doesn't show up. It means that you get a blank screen.
So I went through the selection process of selecting the control room and everything. And then when I say finish, it doesn't give me the tabular data that you see on the screen right now. It shows
what do you see then?
Nothing.
So it's just a blank screen.
Yeah, and I selected total risk. I unselected combination and flammable and selected it only for control room. So I'm not sure what happened.
Okay. Does anybody else have the same issue that you cannot see the results?
I can see them.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a row there that says total risk in combination next to it?
Yep. It's total risk. So I'm not particularly asking just flammable risk or toxic risk alone. Okay. So what I will do is later.
If I'm not able to create the result, I can't possibly answer the quiz.
Yes, I understand. So yes. Okay. So don't worry about it first. Okay. We would solve your problem, and I know it's regarding the certificate. Okay, but we would likely exempt you from this. I mean, as in from the questions.
I'm actually running chapter 8 with the risk results, and I reopened that file and I ran that file again. So I'm not sure why it's not generating it. It was generating the risk contours, but not the IR grid risk.
Okay. We will have to look into your problem later on. Okay.
Okay.
But right now, let me carry on with the training first. So let's. Okay. Don't worry. We will make exemptions as necessary. Okay. Okay. But I just hope that you know the steps to get the results. Okay. Yeah. For now, I will show. I will still show how do we get the results. Okay, so let me change my screen to the software screen. Okay, just now we are stopping at this IR ranking grid. Okay, And then, oh, can you do one thing for me? That is, if you have a lot of windows above there, can you close them? Sorry, if you have a lot of tabs above this space, can you close them? Okay, so what you need to do is just to expand the indoor vulnerability. Actually, I will advise everybody, if you have a lot of tabs up here, and each tab will consume your memory. So if you have too many tabs above here, then when there's insufficient memory, you will see blank. Or simply the software couldn't display the results for you. So I would advise you to close the previous tabs. Okay, there's a cross here, so just close it to save memory. Okay, once you have expanded, okay, what you need to do is actually at this risk, you can just click at the column heading, okay, and you would see a small triangle facing downwards, okay. This is to rank the scenarios according to the risk. So here it shows you immediately the highest risk. Yeah, in order for you not to look at the wrong, sometimes the first scenario that displays here is it may not be the highest risk. So what you need to do is you can click on this total risk column, and then so that it will rank the highest risk to the lowest risk for you. And then we now know that the first line is the highest risk. And then we expand this model to see what is it. It's the hexane loading area medium. Okay. Okay, so the next question, we are going to generate the risk ranking results for another risk ranking point. All right. And it's the same type of question. We are going to ask you which scenario contributes to the highest risk. Okay. If you are still having the same problem that you cannot see the results, even after closing the tabs above, is it?
Yeah, same problem. Not sure what's going on. Maybe we can discuss later on.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, yeah. Okay, but for the rest, you have no problem, right? So let's show the quiz question now. Okay. Which equipment contributes to the highest risk to West Town? So it's West Town, and still it's the highest risk.
Richard, is it for indoor or outdoor vulnerability?
Oh, good question. Let me see.
The fact is that I am getting the same result for both the cases. Anyway, I'm just for clarity, I am asking.
Okay, but let me just hide the question for a while. We do not launch the poll results yet. Okay, so let me just okay. Because we did not specify, so it's outdoor. Okay.
Okay.
It's outdoor vulnerability. And I apologize for the lack of clarity in the question. Outdoor vulnerability. Okay, so let's launch the poll now. Okay, and the answer is okay. Now, the answer is chlorine tank. And we look under outdoor vulnerability. So you will see that because the chlorine tank actually tops everything. So the first field is all chlorine tank. So I hope that there is no way for you to miss this. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the software. How do we exactly, what are the steps to generate the required results? So let's click the raise button.
Richard, sorry to interrupt again. I tried generating again with all the tabs closed. It's blank. By selecting West Town. Yeah, just to let you know. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Noted. And we will deal with the problem later on. Okay, so so we will choose a total risk. And then we click on next. Next. Okay, and I want to filter all the rest, leaving only the West Town. And click on finish. So expand the West Town. Okay, so what you get here is basically the scenario that is contributing to the risk at the West Town is all chlorine tank. So there is no other equipment here. So I hope that this is very straightforward chlorine tank and not other equipment. Okay. We are coming to question number. Okay, not yet. So now I will go into the societal risk part. Okay, and we are now almost 4 o'clock. So we would. I'm sorry that we are overrunning. So we will need another 1 more hour. Okay, by 5 o'clock we will finish. Okay. Sorry for overrunning. So now we are going into the societal risk results in Safeti. What you see here is you have the SR ranking grid, the category PLL, the FN totals, and FN details, the smooth FN and the raw FN. So to look at the FN curve, we would either choose smooth FN or raw FN. The difference between smooth FN and raw FN is that the two of them actually are calculated slightly differently. Both apply different methodology to calculate the results. So it's not surprising to see that smooth FN is and raw FN, they do not exactly match each other. Okay. If you ask me which one would I recommend you, I would recommend raw FN, because raw FN, you are able to manipulate with the results, meaning that you are able to filter off certain scenarios. If you have a FN curve that is not meeting the risk acceptance, that is not meeting the criteria, then you can easily filter off some of the scenarios and see if the FN curve would be lowered down. Okay, so it has a more powerful function than the smooth FN. Later on, I will show exactly what are the differences between raw FN and smooth FN. And I will also show you SR ranking grid and category PLL. Due to time constraint, we will leave out FN totals and FN details for now. Basically, these two options are tabulating the data in table format. It's not anything different from SR ranking grid and category PLL. Okay, so for the FN curve, we have the minimum and the maximum risk criteria. Then we have the result. The result is represented by this. We can have a single curve that is combining both flammable risk and toxic risk, or we can split it into individual run rows. Okay, just like this, we can split into 4 curves. Okay, and the smooth FN curve is calculated using predefined ranges of fatality numbers like 1 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 100, and 100 to 1,000. Smooth FN is based on total results for the run row combination without any details recorded about which model, whether, types of effect contributed to the risk level in a given range of n. So which means that for the smooth FN, you will not be able to find out let's say, for example, now I have two curves that is out of at the unacceptable region, and I would like to find out which are the scenarios that contribute to the FN curve being out of bound. For smooth FN, I'm not able to do the filtering to know which model, which weather effect, which weather or which effect contribute to this to these results. But for raw FN, I'm able to do so. Okay. Now let's take a look at the software. So if you go to the risk, okay, click on the risk, and then click on smooth FN. Okay, and I would like to have a total risk combination, not just a flammable risk. So I always have to do this action of removing the flammable risk from the right-hand side and move the total risk from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Okay, here I would like you to take note. When you click on next, what do you see? Immediately you go to the result selection, saving this result selection. Okay, there's no other options available. So you just click on finish. Now, and you see that the result, that the total risk is way above the acceptance line. Okay, so now let's click risk and click on raw FN. Raw FN. So are we going to get the same curve as the smooth FN? Okay, so now if you click on next, you are able to choose the scenarios. And if you click on next, you are able to choose the effect type. And you click on next. Okay, so you are able to choose on the scenarios and the effects. Okay, so the raw FN is also above the acceptance line, but you see that the different from smooth FN, the acceptance line it's not extended to 300. Now that's because in the settings tab, in the risk preferences, and in the charts tab, we have only set the maximum number of fatalities to 10. Okay, while smooth FN will automatically extend the curve for us, okay, but raw FN will not do that for us. Okay, so now if I want to find out which are the scenarios, I'm just going to trial and error. Okay, I'm going to try and error and to see if I remove some of the scenarios from the result selection, am I able to push the curve down? And from the previous risk control results, I understand that the toxic risk is driving the risk to the west town, okay, to the west town. So especially chlorine storage. So I'm going to remove chlorine scenario from the results selection. So I do this by clicking at the risk button, and then I click at the raw FN, and then I choose total risk combination. And from here, I just want to be safe. I remove all the toxic ammonia scenarios, chlorine scenarios, and hydrogen sulfide scenarios. Then I click on finish. So it's still giving me the same curve. And that's because, okay, the population include of not just only people from West Town, but also on-site workers. So from the IR ranking grid, let's take a look at the control room, okay, and then the outdoor vulnerability. So the first, it tops the scenario that tops the risk contribution is the ethane line. So I'm going to try the ethane line. I'm going to try to remove the ethane line and see if it has any impact on the FN curve. Now this is a very useful function because you do not have to rerun, okay? You do not have to rerun the model again when you are doing the trial and error. So I'm going to remove the ethane line. So that's under utility. Where is utility? Yeah, here. So I'm going to remove the utility and just click on finish. There is no changes at all. So I'm going to remove more. So now I'm removing everything. I'm just leaving toxic risk. No, if I just want toxic risk, I can just show toxic risk. Okay, never mind. In the process of determining what contribute to such a high FN curve, let's look at the individual run rows. Oh, everything is above. So everything is above. Oops. I need to remove a lot of scenarios in order to get, I will need to remove a lot of scenarios in order to get a curve that is at the allowed region. So in this case, what I would do is, sorry, I clicked accidentally. So let me try again. I'm going to show only the results of one process unit. So maybe just isom, like naphtha feed, and then next, and finish. Okay, well, it has some small changes. Yeah, but we can see that all the scenarios actually contributed to high FN curve. Okay, but the useful function of raw FN curve is such that it allows you to filter out scenarios so that you can trial and error. In a very short time, you'll be able to find out which are the scenarios that contribute to the high FN. And you can try to remove these scenarios and see if by removing these scenarios, will you be able to get a FN curve that is in the allowed region. Okay, let's move on to the SR ranking grid. I'm going to show the SR ranking grid. Okay, we expand the XR ranking grid. We have here the different scenarios, and then the coordinates, then the model frequency. Okay, we have the model frequency, then we have the average fatalities and the risk integral percentage. Okay, this is percentage, and risk integral. Okay, average fatalities, risk integral, and then the zero deaths. Okay, the average fatalities is being calculated by dividing the risk integral by the model frequency. So the average fatalities, it has the function of showing you without considering the frequency, how severe or how many people can this scenario potentially kill? Okay, the worst case that we get is this scenario known as the light naphtha feed. Now, given its location that is close to either the on-site workers or the off-site population, it has, without considering the frequency, it has the potential of killing 13 people. So it is the worst case here. Now, but the risk integral is the results after considering the frequency. Okay. Then we have the 0 deaths, 1, 10, 100, and close to 300. The maximum number of people killed is 300 people. And these are the corresponding frequencies to each of the number of people being killed. Okay. So this is SR ranking grid. And let's move on to look at the category PLL. So remember that we have categorized our population according to public, or according to operators, maintenance, admin, or others. So if we click on category PLL and we move the total risk from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, then we click on finish. Okay, so when we expand here, we are able to see the PLL for each of the respective category, namely operators, process control, maintenance, admin, public, and other. Okay, then the PLL here is the total of everything. Okay, if you total up the PLL of all the categories, you will get this final number here. Okay, the next thing is you will be able to see what are the scenarios that contribute to the PLL of the operators, process control, maintenance, admin, public, and others. So we are able to see that the first scenario, the catastrophic rupture of an ammonia tank, it has the impact on the operators, but it has no impact on process control, maintenance, admin, and public. Okay, and then we have another scenario, which is the LPG export, the large release scenario of the LPG export, and it has impact on the operators, process control, and admin people and others, but it has no impact on the maintenance and public. So this category PLL provides you with the PLL of different worker groups, okay? And it also breaks down the scenario that contributes to the PLL of the different worker groups. So it's very convenient, and I hope this would give you the convenience of interpreting the results, and when you need to make some judgment very quickly, hopefully this will provide you with some useful information. Okay, so we have gone through the societal risk ranking grid and the category PLL. So we are coming to the quiz questions. So I hope by now you should be able to generate the smooth FN curve, the raw FN curve. I hope you should know how to filter the scenarios or select the scenarios to be included in the raw FN results. And then I hope you will also be able to generate the SR ranking grid and the category PLL. So now when we move on to the quiz question, okay, is the societal risk acceptable according to FN curve? Okay. So if you look at how I operate the software just now, it's very clear. So does anybody have any doubts about this question? Okay, then we launch the poll now.